Good morning, and welcome to the Media Speaks Live Saturday morning news show. I'm D. Lake for Prez. I'm joined this morning by Anne-Marie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Anne-Marie. Awesome, and we're also joined by Sam I.B. DeGangi, Sam of the Correct Views, and the band Passing Time, Samuel.
Greetings, unsettled souls. Welcome to the Saturday edition.
Awesome. Sam, also, I wanted to bring up that this week we lost Prince, the musical artist known as Prince, also known as just like a symbol. Remember that? But Sam, if we could fast forward what is normally near the end of the show, the obituary section. I mean, in a week like this where we have a major loss in the music community, Sam, can we talk a little bit about Prince?
Yeah, I mean,
The purple one.
musically, I think Lemmy was a bigger loss, but just the same, I came along
Right.
a really interesting story here regarding a possible connection between his death and Merle Haggard's. This is Kit Daniels, which is a more than respectable analyst. Was Prince killed by chemtrails? He and Haggard. They both had spoken out against it. Now, I'm not saying that the government specifically killed them with chemtrails, but just listen to this. The artist known as Prince has died suddenly of a mysterious illness, just like Merle Haggard. Both men previously spoke out against chemtrails. Many have suggested they were responsible for the surge in respiratory illness. This is interesting, friends, because if you work in an environment such as I do, where you see a lot of people from lots of walks of life, you see the rich, the poor, and everything in between being a DJ, there is an astronomical amount of people who are having these strange respiratory illnesses that are like dithering pneumonias. Beautiful girl Dana may have had the same thing, which of course is the anti-nuclear site. The singer, his full name being Prince Rogers Nelson, had a medical emergency on April 15th and forced his private jet to make an emergency landing in Illinois. But he appeared at a concert the next day to assure his fans that he was okay. According to TMZ, he said he was battling the flu. It's also interesting to note that they did ask him to stay the night, but he only stayed in the hospital 3 hours because he was angry that his entourage couldn't stay. So he did play some bit of a role in his own demise by not listening. A mysterious illness has been spreading across the U.S., coinciding with massive chemtrail spraying, and it's possible the two are linked. So basically, Prince was kind of asking for extra, something like above and beyond what the hospital normally does. The hospital had suspected something. Prince even spoke out against chemtrails during an interview late night on Tavis Smiley, as did Haggard, who passed away on April 6th from a lung infection. And it asks if chemtrails are real. It says if you go outside on a clear day and you look up, being careful to block out the bright disk with your thumb, you might see a hazy white region around the surrounding our star, the Smithsonian Magazine revealed. This haze is caused by airplanes, and it's gradually whitening our sky, says Charles Lang of NOAA's Earth System Research Laboratory in Boulder. We might be actually
That's a very conspiratorial theory. Anne-Marie, how do you feel about the chemtrail theory?
Well, I did see Prince. They repeated this Prince episode actually only like a couple of months ago on our local West Virginia PBS station. And I was surprised when I looked it up on YouTube, and it was actually from years ago. So I don't know why they just repeated this only a few months ago, and I saw it here. And he did talk about chemtrails. He said that after a plane would go like and spray this stuff, he said that people in his neighborhood who were all happy and everything got angry, and people were all getting upset and angry, and he really felt like chemtrails were making people like go nuts and I guess crazy. And but I'm not sure. I mean, I do see planes in the skies, and they do have contrails. Usually, they're planes have spit out something.
Right, but you recognize that a contrail is usually defined as being about 3 to 3.5, maybe 4 lengths of the plane, But when you see it go from horizon to horizon, don't you start to think that something is effing wrong?
Well, the other question, D-Like, too, and I don't know if either of you two have heard this, but remember when 9/11 happened, all commercial traffic was was shut down, and yet the chemtrails remain. This is something they're adding to the fuel. It's sort of a separate, like you could look up chemtrails and contrails and see the difference. But the most glaring example that I know of was over 9/11.
And the giant white doomsday plane was still allowed to fly, but that's cool. Anyways,
why were they chemtrailing if there were no commercial traffic in the sky?
so if you could just wrap it up in a tidy bow, Sam, how it all relates to Prince, that'd be great.
Well, I think in a nutshell, what he's saying is, I draw the line in saying the government killed him. I don't see that to be the case, especially.
What about the Queen? Did you see that meme that
Yeah.
for her 90th birthday, she should sacrifice a Prince?
But
Prince.
I didn't see that particular one. But I do think that I don't know that he was making that much of a difference with it, because I, for instance, hadn't heard that he was against it till after he died. So that wouldn't make any sense. There's actually more people hearing about it now than would have if they'd left him live. So I don't see,
similar, but
I
real
don't see
quick.
the motive in killing him.
Yeah, I don't see the motive. I mean,
But it is interesting.
he could have fallen victim to just health repercussions, and there was talk of drugs and some other stuff in the entourage.
I mean, when you check yourself out of the hospital because you're not allowed to have your friends.
Interesting though that we're gonna rush to do an autopsy on Prince to find out what's going on. But when it comes to Scalia,
Yeah.
Judge Scalia and Antonian Scalia, we don't rush to autopsy. And Chelsea Clinton said just yesterday or the day before that if I could go to that, find that link real fast for you guys. She said that now that Scalia is dead, it's a perfect time to get that gun control they've been wanting to have. How do you guys feel about that? She's like, Chelsea Clinton is promoting that Scalia is dead, and it's a perfect time to get the gun control. What do you guys think?
Well, I think with gun control, I think people who live in rural areas of the country, they need their own guns, because I know when I lived in like Floresville, Texas, we had cows, we had barbadoe, there was coyotes, there's snakes, and he needed to have a gun to like protect, like us and also the animals. I know he even like shot a snake one time. It was a cottonmouth snake, and those are poisonous. And you can't just call up animal control. I don't even think there was an animal control there. You're basically fending for yourself in the country, and you need a rifle to do that. Now, I know that he also used to hunt, and then he would actually. I didn't eat this food because I was sort of like a vegetarian at the time, but he would like hunt like birds and things, and he would actually like take off the head. It was really gross to see. He would take off the head, and then he would like deep feather it, and then he would like wrap bacon around it and stick a jalapeno in it and go smoke it on like the. And in fact, there was wild turkeys that would, he wouldn't shoot those, but there was like, we had lots of wildlife and deer and everything like that would come, back and forth. But I'm just saying that in the country, you really do need like these weapons, like to do that, like to protect yourself. I know one time I was outside and he screamed to me, "There's a coyote, out and get back in." We lived like in a shack on his parents' land, and
Yeah.
it's like you don't think of these things. Like I was coming from Staten Island, New York, so I was like, but you do need these weapons. Now, this is the thing I have to say about this, though. Not everybody should have a weapon, and people who do live in the country and do hunt and eat that food is not for fun. They actually hunt like venison, deer, and they make venison sausage and.
So Chelsea Clinton is going to argue that she's talking about the inner cities and Washington D.C. and and New York City and Los Angeles maybe, and we need to take those guns away. Now that Scalia is gone, we can enact gun control. I don't know if that's a direct quote. They have the video, and she says, "My mom Also, her mom, which is Hillary Clinton, also recognizes who carries hot sauce in her purse. We'll get to that. That the role of the Supreme Court has when it comes to gun control. With Justice Scalia on the bench, one of the few areas where the court actually had an inconsistent record relates to gun control, Clinton said. Sometimes the court upheld local and state gun control measures as being compliant with the Second Amendment, and sometimes the court struck them down.
There's a problem here. The people who are in rural areas, they did say, oh, we don't want Obama to take away our guns. We don't want them to take it. Obama didn't take away anybody's guns. And the people who do own guns and need them and use them in rural areas, like I said, for hunting, and they actually eat the meat, it's not for sport, and they protect their animals with the guns, they don't think that everybody needs to have a gun either, because there's some stupid people out there who just want a gun and they just want to go shooting and they use it in stupid ways. And I gotta say, responsible gun owners are, maybe they are part of the NRA, but I don't think that they believe everybody should have a gun. In fact, they believe, from the people I've met, especially in Texas, they believe that people need to be more responsible. And people, this is the thing, there is a gun loophole. You can go to a gun show, and some people, they don't check everybody. They don't check you at a gun show, and that should be fixed. That's a loophole that should be fixed. You shouldn't be able to just go to a gun show and purchase a gun. And why aren't they getting them at a gun shop? Because then you have to get a permit. Just think of your license. You need a driver's license. You have to go register your car. And at a gun show, you could go to a gun show and go get a gun. And the second thing I have a problem with is you don't need
I don't think you can just walk in all willy-nilly and just get a gun. Because we have gun shows here in San Diego, events all the time I see billboards for. I haven't been to one, but I've been to other conventions, and it's not all willy-nilly, just like you just walk in off the street and you're like, hey, I want to get a gun. I mean, you need all kinds of...
At a gun show, there's a loophole.
You can't walk in and get it if you've had a felony, which everybody else is entitled to own a gun if you don't have a felony, so I don't have a problem with it. You can't buy it even at a gun show with a felony. You can't legally buy a gun if you have a felony. Other than that, you can legally buy a gun anywhere.
Right, and they really need to fix this loophole, because not everybody...
like that. Why? Good. If you don't have a felony, why can't you have a gun?
Because some people might have some mental illness. Some people maybe shouldn't have a gun, or might have done.
So you're saying that there should be other requirements.
If whatever their illness is, if they're not felonious, then they're still allowed to own a gun.
I'm going to research more. And there's a second thing too, which is assault rifles. We're talking about guns. Now, guns are really dangerous. There's people out there who don't know really how to use one, who buy them and don't really know how to use them, and they use them for stupid things. Now, what I'm saying is you don't need an assault rifle, even in the country. He had a gun, he had a few guns, and he kept the bullets separate from the gun. He didn't keep a loaded gun, and he didn't need an assault rifle. I mean, at like July 4th, we were allowed to shoot fireworks in Floresville. And he would get like those black cats, and it sounds like a machine gun going off. Like, he loved that one, but he didn't own a machine gun. You don't need a machine gun.
I'll tell you why you do, especially if you live in the city, and you're going to see more and more of this, unfortunately, in the future. You're seeing them now in limited areas. Look up flash mobs. You'll get 30 or 40 people that rush one store, sometimes kill or beat the clerk, steal everything they can get, and they're out of the store in 30 seconds. Mark my words, that's going to start happening in the more well-to-do areas, and it's going to happen in places where the political unrest develops into a situation that's worse than Ferguson. And you're going to need assault rifles. Mark my words. Flash mobs are going to start taking over residences.
But if you get one person with one of those machine guns, they could have like 80 or 100 bullets in that and kill like 80 or 100 people in a store. I could be at a Walmart, and if one crazy person has an assault rifle, they don't have to reload the gun. There's not just 4 or 5 bullets.
All right, listen. Owning weaponry, the right to bear arms in the Second Amendment includes assault rifles or Armalite rifles or any kind of rifle, any kind of ammunition count. You could have a tank if you wanted. There's people that have turrets on their house.
We talked about
There are people that are protected to the gills that have ammo stacked to the highest capacity. That is legal. Killing people is illegal. So it's already on the books. You cannot kill people.
Well, that's crazy, because let me just tell you.
Murder is against the law. That's crazy? No, that's the
I'm
law.
saying,
You cannot go and kill 80 people just because you have 80 bullets.
D-Lake, there are some crazy...
You can have 80 bullets. That is lawful. But killing 80 people with those 80 bullets is against the law, is my point.
D-Lake, what do you need that gun for that has 80 bullets in it? You're not going to go find
a flash mob of 80 people.
I just described it to you.
We have the National Guard.
If a flash mob of 80 people come at me and I have 80 bullets, I would lawfully kill them in self-defense.
Yeah, but the National Guards, they can't help flash mobs. That's the flash part of it.
What about police? We have police. There's police stations.
Again, where were the... All right, that's fine, but...
Yeah, but if the police and the military are the only ones armed, that is not a safe society. Everyone needs to be armed.
Well, we don't need assault rifles. I mean, think about it. When you're in a rural area, you go hunting, and you don't use assault rifles to go hunting.
Okay, so you're going to limit my amount of arrows? How many arrows I can have?
There's going to become flash mobs, not just hitting stores.
We're cracking Anne-Marie up. How many arrows am I allowed to have in my bow? Come on. I have the right to bear the arm of arrow.
It's ridiculous. We do not, and you know what? That's not safe for the police either, because if somebody could go and shoot up the police. They could go shoot up an army base. I mean, it's just anywhere. It's ridiculous. I mean, you don't need assault rifles. People need guns.
How are you going to defend yourself against the flash mob attacking your house? I'm still waiting for you to tell me that. Rubber bands? Bad language.
Yeah, no physical violence, just verbal violence.
It's going to happen. You have to be able to see that that's where society is going.
But what I'm saying is, if you want to say that, a flash mob, what if one of those 80 people, or what if each one of those 80 people who are in the flash mob has an assault rifle that's loaded up with
many people,
then the bullets are going to fly in both directions, just like Trump has been saying.
I miss Matt Winklejohn, because he would be able to back me up on this. He was a gentleman. He was a gentleman who used to be on this show and ended up developing his own show. And he had mentioned this in other shows. I just don't know the specifics on it. But you take someone like him who knows guns impeccably, and you take somebody else and they try to walk in with a street sprayer, they're going to kill about, I don't know, they're going to get around 1 or 2 bursts off before Winklejohn puts them and their assault rifle down. If someone is armed, if most people are armed, if one guy has a street sprayer, for one thing, you have to plant to hold those very well. That's not going to end well for him in the long run. You're not just going to walk into and I mean, if in New York City, you could be in trouble because they don't let anybody carry them. So you're going to have people getting them illegally. But if people have the right to defend themselves, you can't just plant and spray. The only time that happens is in Paris, where, again, the society wasn't allowed to defend themselves. Trump has mentioned this. You can't just plant and spray in an armed society. That's not going to work. They're going to shoot the ground right out from under you. Otherwise, every single person in the military would have a sprayer. They don't, because those assault rifles will sometimes hold you down. That's one way, but I know there's a lot of ways. He did a whole show about how assault rifles in the wrong hands at the wrong time will stop you from killing people if other people are armed.
Well, I actually back in the day met Winklejohn and invited from a video he did and invited him onto our show, from a video they did about guns do not shoot themselves. And he had guns laying all around his house, and his cat was purring next to the semi-automatics and all that, and none of those guns shot themselves. And for someone to be killed by any one of the guns in his house would be, an illegal, against the law.
D-Lake, would you like to be a flash? D-Lake, if we start a flash mob, are we going to see Matt Winklejohn? Are we going to go visit Matt with our
You
flash
cannot
mob?
unjustly kill people. You can kill people in self-defense.
You're quick with that. You're quick.
And you realize that there are some crazy people that are legally allowed to get these
There will
guns.
always be crazy people. How do you guys feel about the news this week about will there be crazy people going into the bathrooms at Target that says that they will now allow transgenders at Target, like to go into whatever bathroom they want? Like if you identify as female, then you are welcome to go into the female's dressing room and or bathroom. And how do you feel about it? Donald Trump says if you're Caitlyn Jenner, you can use the women's room at his hotel. And how do you feel?
I don't like it for a couple of reasons. One reason is I work, again, in a strip club, so I probably have more knowledge on this than most women do. There are a very large number of women who do not want men in the bathroom during a certain time of the month. They have reasons for this that I'm not going to elaborate in, but it can easily be figured out. Second of all, somebody very close to me has Crohn's disease. That can sometimes be a little bit different for a man than a woman, because with women they can develop fistulas, which will attach their feces to their vaginal area, and it's dreadful.
Wait, what? Male feces? If a man or woman shares?
No. For women, it's possible for Crohn's disease to, your taint. It's possible for fistulas. It's like little tunnels to develop. What I'm saying is it's not a very pleasant topic, but those are two reasons off the top of my head that I do know of women who do not want men in their bathroom, even if the man can't figure out whether or not he's male or not. This is a biology issue, not a mental issue. This is a bad idea.
I mean, like, I'm for civil rights, but we've had a separation of gender. I mean,
the pedophile thing doesn't bother me.
Is tradition
pedophiles have always been a threat with boys anyway. The pedophile thing doesn't bother me as much because pedophiles can mess with little boys. They're always a fear.
That's going to exist, but is Target promoting it, or is Target accepting it, or is Target going to fuck up and let it happen by accident? I mean, Anne-Marie, how do you feel about this topic? I know it's a tough one.
Well, I think that this is more like a Republican. It's the Republicans restricting and denying people, and I think that.
Oh, come on!
You want a guy in the bathroom when you're on your period?
I think Republicans are restricting your individual rights and your individual liberties. There's stalls on each of these bathrooms. You go in there, it's not like someone's going to see you. If you have a child, you always go into the bathroom with your child. You don't just have your child go in the bathroom anyway. But there's lots of family restrooms. Even when my son was a baby, it would be my husband, me, and our baby would, sometimes I needed help in there. And there's like family restrooms too, male or female, but that's just one stall. It's one door and you go in, it's big. But, and I needed help, like, sometimes getting stuff out of my diaper bag and mixing formula and this and that when we were on the road. Now, the thing is that when you go into a bathroom, it doesn't matter to me if someone's dressed, if it's a man and he's dressed as a woman. I mean, some women sometimes.
No. I mean, sometimes daddy has to open the door to the little girl's room so his daughter can go in there and do her thing. But he's not going to go in there with her. He's not supposed to. And people know that. We have a society where, okay, if you like identify as female, you've been living as female for 7 years, I'm sure you could probably get away with going into the woman's bathroom, and you've probably done it before. Even if you're a woman posing as a man and you want to use the urinal, look, the men's room has condoms, the women's room has tampons, and that's just how it is. And especially the dressing rooms. Look, if you want to try on women's clothing, you go to the women's dressing room. Has there been men trying on women's clothing in the women's bathroom? Yes, I'm sure there has been. And you know what? That's actually fine because a dressing room is, you know, a closed off, enclosed, secluded. You close the drape behind you, and you can show yourself off in the mirror and do whatever the hell you want. Fine. I can live with that. But the bathroom is a different situation, and I think that the bathrooms should be the way that they are now. There's a new restaurant opening up in London, a nude restaurant opening up in London, and they already have 16,000 people that want to go to the new nude restaurant in London. Nude restaurant in London.
But the men's room has like a urinal and there's no stall.
Yeah.
You know, the women's room has like stalls. So if a man comes in there dressed as a woman and he goes into the stall, I'm not going to know it. I'm not paying attention to like who's next to me.
Yeah, but there
Who cares? I mean, what does it matter?
There are unfortunately a large number of men who prefer to do very, very strange things when allowed into the women's bathroom.
If I could just sit in a stall next to you and hear you pee, and that's my thing as a pervert, then that would be great.
I'm bringing this up because otherwise we're going to get strikes. But I do know that it's bad.
I'm just saying if I was that pervert.
There are a large, unfortunately, number of these. I'm not saying like, oh, social justice warrior, everybody's a rapist. But there are a lot of fetishists and a lot of very strange people that go into the woman's room. Now, yeah. I don't know if it's like that with women on the other side. I imagine it probably is. I don't want to know. But I do know that it's a problem. It's not a problem you see at a gay club or at like a swingers party. Obviously not there.
No, there's actually a backlash right now in the gay community and the lesbian community against the. You have the LGBT, with the L, G, and the B. Right now, they're like, dude, do we really need the T? Because the T is fucking up our shit. Because we're trying to cater to the T with these new bathroom laws and rules. When the T, the trannies, like, I mean, that's like 0.3% of the population, and we're trying to cater to Bruce/Caitlyn Jenner? One person? Or we're trying to make 4-year-olds and kindergartners tell us what gender they identify with? I'm sick of it! You're born one sex or the other. If you're a transsexual, you have a mental disorder. I'm sorry.
I have gone to, and again, I've mentioned this on air before. Because of some of the conservative views I have, I think people are under the impression that I'm much more conservative than I am. My wife and I, together, consensually, have gone to very X-rated parties. On a side note, people have said, what are you going to do if you ever run for office? I did those things on my time. I won't do it when I'm in office, plain and simple. Am I going to deny it? No. We went to a party where it was pretty much common sense that everybody was going to be using everybody's bathroom at this party. And they had, like, adult X-rated shows. One of our friends were actually one of the actresses in it. She was a vampire being dominated and whipped and whatever. Okay, I get it. There were people going in each other's bathrooms. That's fine. That doesn't need to happen at Target. Environment is everything in this regard. Because if there's some pervert listening while you take a pee, thankfully there wasn't when I did, at that party, I can't really, how much can you bitch? But when you go to Target, you're going for a pair of shoes. You're not going to watch your friend get whipped at a sex party. It's different.
Yeah, you can't find that there. But, I don't know. I think maybe I offended Anne Marie right there. Did I say something bad?
No, it's just saying your opinion, and that's fine. I just don't like when I said this before.
See, no,
I like
no,
the
no. Let me just clarify. Let me just clarify though. When I said mental, because I don't believe in labeling or prescribing. You can do whatever you want. Anyone, anywhere, anybody listening, feel free to comment below. Do whatever you want. If you feel that you want to put on stockings or dress as a woman or go full operation, that's fine with me. I think maybe I'm free to say that you can do whatever you want. You're free to do whatever you want. I'm free to say that I think you might have maybe some mental issues. That's fine. I mean, we're both free to say the same thing, but it's not me. It is not up to me to judge, and I have never been a judge. In fact, I used to work at an adult bookstore, and one of the adult bookstore I worked at a couple, but one of them was, large percentage gay. But I was a non-judge. I mean, do whatever you want. I'm just here to sell this shit and make money.
Well, I mean, I just think that like I just don't like
If you
I
need
like
lube or porno, and you know what? You know what's weird is at that Midnight Books that the transsexual videos were some of the most watched pornographic videos, if you can believe that. But I'm being serious. They were. People are into transsexualism, but it's only 0.3% of the population. So, like, maybe I was in a close-knit community where people were really thinking about doing that. But to go back to what I was saying, the gay people, the gay men, and the lesbian women, they're starting to want to distance themselves from these transsexuals. Ask Joan Rivers. Oh, you can't. She's dead.
Well, the other thing they've tried to do, and I thought this was clever, and I was one of the only people to catch this. The LGBT community has a habit of stretching the rubber band further than it really is. They said, for instance, you would be considered
That sounds sexual, Sam.
you would be considered transgender if you wore makeup. I go to a lot.
No, that's cross-dressing.
Now I go to a lot of shows where I'll black out my eyes and lips, and I also do that usually live because it sets the mood for the whole creepiness of the night. That's not cross-dressing or transgendering. But
yeah, no, that would make Marilyn Manson gay.
But exactly, but they have now included that, which I thought was interesting. I was like, well, that's funny. That's not the way that works at all. But I think they paint with a very broad brush on
now. Yeah, now Halloween is transgender. I mean, there's so much social. Every Halloween, the past 10 years, Anne Marie, correct me if I'm wrong, the social justice warriors have just been getting more and more intense. I can't put on a big black mustache and a sombrero and a poncho and eat tacos. I can't fucking put a bone in my nose and maybe a little blackface and some African leopard print. That would be racist. I can't fucking dress up as anything.
that's all.
A ghost in a white sheet? Oh, that's no good.
No, well, I definitely wouldn't agree with blackface. I mean, I don't like that at all. I mean, not at all. But what I think
are you a fan of Ted Danson from Cheer?
Yeah, but again, I think motive is everything. If you're doing it to mock black people, no. But if you're doing it in much the same way that Eddie Murphy became a white guy, which he did a great job of in that movie.
That's a great skit.
I don't really.
There's an argument in Hollywood right now about Asian actors. And I just watched a video on Vox this morning about white people being cast in Asian roles and Asians not getting enough action in Hollywood. And we just had the Oscars are so white. So, I mean, I feel like all this social justice warrior engineering, though, is just getting out of hand. You and I can't dress up as cowboy and Indian for Halloween, Sam, me and you. You could be the cowboy or the Indian, and I'll be the other one. We can't do that. We used to play cowboys and Indians when we were little kids. We used to play bank robbers and cops when we were little kids.
But see, that's why I'm for, like, listen, first of all, there's only a few, like a percentage, a very low percentage of people who are that would be using this bathroom. Second, I don't like when the government overreach is when the whole country. So if the government came in and denied people, and that's what the Republicans are trying to do, and they're saying you're not allowed to go into this bathroom if you're transgender, that's why I'm against it. I'm against government overreach denying the whole country. That's taking away your civil liberties, and that's what I'm against. And I don't think it is a big deal.
And
I don't
you know
think
what's
it's a big
funny
deal.
though? You know what's funny though? It wasn't a government decision per se. It was a corporate decision on behalf of Target that spawned the conversation. But going to the government and Treasury Secretary Liu this week announced that Harriet Tubman is going to replace Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill. And do you think it'll be this photograph? Because, Sam, I said earlier that this picture of Harriet Tubman looks like it should be on the 50-cent piece. You know what I'm saying, 50 Cent?
My problem with this is I don't care if they put her on another. Here's what
Sam,
I got.
Harriet Tubman looks like 50 Cent with a Aunt Jemima bandana on right there. I think it should be, no, I saw a good one. It should be like this, like when she's really old or something. I don't know.
It's ridiculous to take on that. Here's the bigger picture that nobody virtually is talking about. The Federal Reserve has depreciated the amount of value in the American dollar by between 95 and 99% since its inception. The Federal Reserve has destroyed the U.S. dollar. Andrew Jackson warned against the Federal Reserve. Isn't it the very epitome of irony that the Federal Reserve, which has now bankrupted our nation, is going to remove the man from the $20 bill who warned the entire nation that the Federal Reserve would depreciate your money and bankrupt the nation? That's hilarious to me. That is absolutely priceless. My personal opinion, put her on the dollar bill and make it a different denomination. But the bigger picture, absolutely irony in capital freaking impact font letters. Irony.
Breaking news. The Federal Reserve is now putting pictures of actual slaves on the money, removing all doubt of their true intentions.
Getting rid of the man that warned against the Federal Reserve on the Federal Reserve note right before one of the biggest economic collapses in world history. You gotta love it.
I think it is ironic that he is going to be removed because I'm for him being removed. I don't like him. I mean, he was our 7th president. He was a slave owner, so that's the irony. He actually was a slave owner.
During slave owner times, during the times when people owned slaves,
he
didn't own slaves in 2016. Okay.
He was promoting genocide against Native Americans. He signed the Indian Removal Act, which led to the Trail of Tears, and that was the forced migration of Native Americans into Oklahoma territory. I mean, he's not.
And he was also just to add that he was the president of the United States of America. And did he do anything good for the country as president?
I don't think that's great. I think that's horrible. I mean,
he was the president of the United States. That's horrible. Let's Google Andrew Jackson.
The trouble is he was genocide. The trouble with Andrew Jackson was he was a
7th president.
He was a rather morally bankrupt character, as Anne Marie mentioned. The trouble is he was one of the best economic presidents, if not the best economic president the country ever had. And if they would have listened to him, there's no other mathematical solution other than the fact that we would have been the most successful nation in all of history even now. He was the man who laid out the economic plan that quite literally would have saved the country from where we are now.
At age 13, he was captured and mistreated by his British captors. He later became a lawyer. He was elected to political office, first to the U.S. House of Representatives and then to the United States Senate. In 1801, Jackson was appointed colonel in the Tennessee militia. Then he whipped some slaves and did some other disgusting shit, and I don't know. He tried to kill the Indians and stuff, so he's a pretty bad
Yeah,
guy.
that's pretty horrible. Yeah,
He was a
horrible.
planner, he was a lawyer, he was a general. His religion was Presbyterian. Oh my God, that's the same as Donald Trump. Uh-oh. I'm Presbyterian. Well, Methodist, I guess you would say. I don't know. But I studied a lot of different religions, so I'm kind of just out there.
You know, he was the first president to win for the Democratic Party, which is another ironic statement because the Democratic Party is usually for social issues, and he was for.
Oh, now they are. Now they are. Have you seen the preview for Dinesh D'Souza's new movie about Hillary's America, all about the history of the Democrats and Andrew Jackson and the cake whipping the slaves and the Ku Klux Klan and how they're the real racists, but the Republicans, they flipped it on them to say that the Republicans are the racists? Oh, yeah. Have you seen any of that?
Well,
I'm not the racist. You're the racist.
I think it was the Democratic governor that stood in front of the school and didn't want to let black people in it with white people or something.
No.
Back in the day.
And Lincoln was the first president to win as a Republican. There is a role reversal. I mean, today, Lincoln freed the slaves, and he was a Republican. This Andrew Jackson wanted to kill Native Americans, and he wanted slaves. He was a slave owner. It is a role reversal, the parties.
Yeah, but Democrats and Republicans don't equally bad.
Yeah, I mean, there was a role reversal, and the roles have been reversed a little bit in that regard. Just information for all the social justice warriors that didn't know that. But have you seen the preview for that new Dinesh D'Souza movie, though, Ann?
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah, you should check it out. I think it's called Hillary's America or something. It's coming out really soon. I don't know if that's an advance towards entertainment, but we're not there just yet. Sam, what do we have today in science news? Let's get to that.
I do not, my friends, have the willpower to be a vegetarian. And in light of the news I've seen today, for the first time in my life, while I do need to eat less meat than I do, there is some good news for those like me who simply cannot be a vegetarian. Telegraph.co.uk long-term vegetarian diet changes DNA, raising the risk of cancer and heart disease. A little bit of meat is good for you. Now, as much meat as I eat, probably not. By Sarah Napton, long-term vegetarianism can lead to genetic mutations which raise the risk of heart disease and cancer. Populations who have had a primary vegetarian diet, there's links here in the Telegraph article, for generations were found to be far more likely to carry DNA, which makes them susceptible to inflammation.
Okay, can you just rewind just like 2 sentences? And that was a pretty big qualifier. You said generations of vegetarians. So I mean that might not be someone that just started going vegetarian last week. Can you say that part again?
It said populations who have had a primarily vegetarian diet for generations were found to be far more likely to carry DNA, which makes them susceptible to inflammation. But hold on, it says they believe that the mutation occurred to make it easier for vegetarians to absorb essential fatty acids from plants. Mm-hmm. But it was the knock-on effect of boosting the production of anhydronic acid, which is linked to inflammatory disease and cancer. When coupled with a diet of high in vegetable oils, like sunflower oil, which is popular in the U.S., the mutated gene quickly turns fatty acids into this arachidonic acid. And it said that the finding may help explain previous research, which found vegetarian populations are nearly 40% more likely to suffer colorectal cancer, the meat eaters. And finding has puzzled doctors because eating meat is also known to raise the risk. So I think the overall thing here is moderation. Let me scan through since I don't want to take forever on this. In such individuals, vegetable oils will be converted to the more pro-inflammatory, again, arachidonic acid, increasing the risk of chronic inflammation. This exacerbates cancer. And to make the problem worse, the mutation also hinders the production of beneficial omega-3 fatty acids, which is a fish oil if you take what I take every day. And it's protective against heart disease. And although it may not have mattered when the mutation first developed, since the individual revolution, there has been a major shift in diets away from omega-3, found in fish and nuts, to the less healthy omega-6, which is found in vegetable oils. So they're taking in the wrong kinds of fats that are in their body. So, I mean, that doesn't mean go out and
Mm-hmm.
make a diet of
Okay.
porterhouse steaks, but it is somewhat good news that a little bit of meat is good for you.
Just a little bit, maybe. Pepperoni on my pizza. Remember 2 weeks ago when we talked about pizza?
Do you notice Anne-Marie D-Lake goes straight to the healthiest meat? Pepperoni. Yes, D-Lake. Is that what you got out of that article, Anne-Marie? Because that's what D-Lake heard. D-Lake heard, let's get some pepperoni. It's good for you.
You said just a little bit of meat is good, and I'm like, well, what about a pepperoni pizza? Come on, look. If we eat this entire heart of vegetables like 1 week, I mean, maybe on Saturday we can have a pepperoni pizza. I mean, come on. After that show we did about the presidents eating with pepperoni pizza, Anne Marie, did you get a giant New York style pizza? Because I know I did.
I did. I went to the only place like really around.
And I
was
bet you $100 right now. Sam did as well. Sam, after we did that show 2 weeks ago about the pizza, were you like, I don't know why, babe, but I'm really feeling pizza tonight? Did you guys go get a pizza, you and Christelle?
We may have, but we eat pizza, unfortunately, on a regular basis.
So, yeah, you would.
They buy it once a week at work, and every once in a while someone brings one to our practice.
Yeah, so it wasn't anything new for you guys to have pizza that weekend. So, yeah, no big deal.
That's terrible. Yeah, but it's true.
Oh, yeah. I like pizza. Michelle Obama said her favorite food, hands down, pizza. I'm like, that's a perfect answer because who doesn't like pizza?
Exactly, it's the perfect food.
I mean,
now, I will say, you know, like with meat, like when I stopped eating meat, it's not just the iron that you miss out with meat. People, if anybody out there stops eating meat, you also need B12. Get some B12, like put some on your tongue and it'll dissolve, because that was another thing that you
like
really,
a vitamin supplement, or how do you mean? How would
yeah.
you mean? Mm-hmm.
It's like you just put it right on your tongue. It's like strawberry flavored. It dissolves. But like when I went to the
like
doctor,
a Flintstones vitamin?
it
Remember
tastes
those?
like Flintstones. I used to take those when I was little, but it's just B12. But it's so important. You get it from meat, and when you stop eating meat, it's not just iron. Everybody thinks, oh, you're going to be low in iron. It's B12 also. So, God.
I wanted to say I'm going to put this up. I'm putting the back up because I'm not going to endorse anyone because they don't give us any money. So this is not an endorsement of any company. This is a generic of what's called Emergen-C. Anybody that wants to do a screenshot. I suggest 2 of those a day for everyone because if you did a screenshot, you know why. Again, look up what's in Emergen-C. I am not endorsing Emergen-C nor the brand I put up for listeners. But I suggest 2 a day because there are, especially if you're vegetarian, because I didn't know you were missing B12, but now that you said it, I do know that that would be wonderful. I want to ask, how did you have the willpower to do that? How do you smell a steak or a delicious Oriental or Asian chicken and not be like, oh my God,
my coworker is yeah.
I'm eating General Tso's and I might eat the chopstick too. How do you not do that?
I only did it for a little. I do it for like a little bit at a time, and then I have a hamburger, and then I'll do it.
Probably good for you.
Yeah, it's like I just do it for like a few weeks, and then I kind of like.
It's kind of like anything. Like if you overdo it too, anything that you do too much, that like if you don't do it for a while, it's that much more better, right? What I'm saying. So like if I haven't had a hamburger in like 6 months, and then I eat a hamburger, it's gonna taste like the best fucking hamburger I've ever had, right?
Oh, definitely, and even bacon. I mean, bacon is delicious. That's I
You
think is
know,
the
my
hardest.
sister is a vegetarian, but she says like once a year or some shit, she still like has like a piece of bacon, and she's like, it's like some kind of heavenly experience and shit.
It is. That's oh God, bacon is delicious. Even the smell of it. Oh God.
Yeah, but it's like if you're like me, you're like just bacon every day, and you're like bacon's just delicious, and I just eat it all the time. But then, so it's not like, I mean, this is a specialness or something, right? Like, I don't know.
Exactly. Everything tastes better. Like chicken, even a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store tastes delicious.
All things in moderation is the lesson that we're preaching right now, right?
Rotisserie
Is that
chicken
right?
is addictive. I am convinced. I'm sorry. We do need one more governmental law. Rotisserie chicken, pre-made, should be sold in the cigarette aisle because I swear it's that addictive. They need to have like cigarettes and grocery store roast because you end up eating the whole
Yeah.
damn bird every damn time.
And,
That's so
and Sam, what about Wendy's chicken sandwiches, Sam? Do they put crack in those chicken
Yes, I've
sandwiches?
said it before. I would like to suggest that there is a theory that could exist so that we don't get sued. That Wendy's puts crack in the spicy chicken sandwich. I'm convinced. I
It
eat
must
it.
be,
I eat it.
or something like that, right?
I don't like mayo, but I get it with just cheese. It's pure. It's pure death. You can feel your heart dying, and you eat them anyway. I don't know what they do to them, but yes,
I'm gonna go even one step further here, and this is kind of weird, Sam, and I think it might explain some of what you like about it. Is like, I, like many people in the United States of America, have had pretty much every fast food that there is. I used to work at McDonald's, and yes, I've had Burger King
I still eat it.
and Arby's and
I
Wendy's and
Toxic Hell
Rallies
2 days
and
ago.
In-N-Out and places that you might not have where you live. But Wendy's, I think, is pretty much all across America. There's something about Wendy's, like if I get like a hamburger and maybe even like a chicken sandwich or something, like, I don't know what they put in there, man, but it's more than crack. It's like some kind of ginseng boner medicine. Because I get better boners like after I eat Wendy's, and I think that's really weird. Have you ever heard that, Ann?
No, I never did.
Yeah.
No, but
There's
she's
something
going
about
to go
Wendy's.
buy her husband a spicy
Yeah,
chicken
she's like,
sandwich
hey, I
combo
was
meal now.
thinking Wendy's for dinner tonight. What do you think?
He's like, what the hell, man? Last week pizza, this week Wendy's.
Yeah.
When you guys talk about this week, honey? I'm hungry.
I'm not even a foodie. Remember that episode about the guy who eats a whole vat of macaroni and cheese? Like, I'm not a foodie like that, but it's funny because YouTube then started playing all like food videos. They're like, oh, are you into that? And it was like, do you know they have videos of just like Asian people just eating dinner?
No,
And so there's people that really want to watch that video of someone just eating dinner.
They
So
eat a
can
lot.
sit and
It's
eat.
a lot. It's like a skinny little girl, and she's eating like a ton of food.
Yeah, I
seen
know,
her-
but it's kind of like you put on the video and you have dinner with her, you know?
I'm going to start. Is that why they do that? I'm going.
I don't know why, but Japanese people seem to love it.
I'm going to start looking up just everyday interests in the private, like.
In Japan, they have cat cafes, owl cafes, guinea pig cafes where you can go and eat, like with cats. But there was one I was just reading about yesterday that was shut down because they had more cats than cages, and they were breeding really rapidly, and then there was a funky cat smell, and they just didn't have it under control. But if you go to a nice cat cafe, I think that would be nice. Or an owl. You can have a cocktail with a fucking owl.
You hit on
The
something.
guy that's making the new nude bar in London, he also made another bar called the ABQ, like Albuquerque for short, in New Mexico, where I used to live. And it's a Breaking Bad, the TV show themed restaurant where people go into an RV, like on the show, and use dry ice, fire, and different concoctions to make their own cocktails. I'm not even joking. That's a real thing.
D-Like,
Look it up.
You were talking about when you were looking up food, you ended up with a bunch of horrible things, suggestions. I'm beginning to wonder if it's not a good idea to look up everything that you watch in like the private window so that Google doesn't save it or something, because I went into work the other day and on my desktop, like on my screen, thankfully nobody had seen it, were not one, not two, but three swastikas. One was a continuation of a World War II documentary I had. One was Rob Zombie's, because I was listening to a Rob Zombie concert, the Nazi Amazon Women on the Moon, that funny one, but they happened to stop on the swastika. And the other one said Donald Trump is a Nazi. Because of past searches I looked up that had nothing to do with each other. There's swastikas on my fucking screen when I go to YouTube at work.
Yeah.
Sam,
Sam, seriously. There's no way that you could be a World War II historian on the internet in 2016 and not be accused of being a Nazi with all that fucking swastika propaganda on your fucking computer.
But I mean, it was funny because I had searched Trump and I had listened to Rob Zombie, and by dumb luck, they had all had the swastika in common.
Yeah. Good job, Sam. Trump equals Nazi on your fucking Google. Thanks, pal. You're ruining the algorithm for everyone.
Thanks, Google.
Thanks, Google. For nothing.
Terrible. Have you heard about the pirate party, D-Lake? Now, I was kind of laughing at this party because it looks like a really good idea in Iceland where it started. But they're not sure what their platform is. Their goal is to get an office, which looks, I mean, it literally says that, so that's kind of...
The pirate party?
The pirate party.
Do they have a black flag?
Well, they are mostly, it's called pirate, again, because they're in favor of digital media not being overly penalized. They don't want your phone broken into. They don't want backdoors. That kind of thing is really good. But what's funny is, if you go to their platform, it says, in short, we stand for open participatory society, which gives everyone a voice and empowers everyone to a health, productive, and potential life. On and on and on. But then it says, right now we are working on developing more comprehensive policies. What we do already have is in our core values, and pretty much their goal is to get elected, and they'll work on it once they get there, is what it looks like. Which is a shame because the pirate party in Iceland seems to have its crap together, and I don't know that that's the case here. But yes, the pirate party of the United States. Interesting. It was.
That's interesting. I'm sure that's going to come up on a future show because that sounds like something that's going to be exploited in one way or another just because of the name.
Arg.
Actually had drafted an idea for a new game. Sam, remember when we used to play cool games on the show?
Who done said it?
Who done said it? And the Google autofill game. You were great at Who Done Said It, but not as good at the Google autofill game.
I'm terrible at the autofill game.
Yeah. Anyways, I drafted a concept for a new game, but I didn't really follow through on doing my homework. So on the spot, I'm just going to create a new game, which isn't the awesome game that I had thought about the other night, but it's something that I was talking about at work this week.
Oh, the unawesome game. We're going to play the not awesome game.
We're going to play the unawesome game and save the awesome game for next week. So everyone be sure to tune in next week for a much better show after I prepare the game. But this is an off-the-cuff secondary game that I'm just going to make up the rules as we go. I don't know if either of you have ever been to the website Alexa. And don't go there. Don't go there. Do not go there. Sam, I can't see you. Are you playing fair? Hands up in the air. Both you guys put your hands up.
Oh. No, I usually...
No computer typing. Okay, there we go.
I usually...
All right,
because of crickets or whatever when I'm not talking.
There are over 1 billion websites in the world today. And that's just websites, not all the web pages that each site contains, because some sites are gigantic with thousands of pages. But can you name the top 5 websites as of today in all of the world, the top 5 websites. How about this? You each get one guess, like back and forth. So, ladies go first. Anne-Marie, what is your first guess for one of the top 5 websites of all time today? And if you guess one of them, you get 1 point.
What if I felt like a lady? Never mind.
Sam,
I would say
Sam was trying to bring up gender equality. Sam, ladies go first, okay? You're never identified as a female. Anne-Marie, what is your guess for one of the top 5 websites according to Alexa.com on the internet? You'll get 1 point if you guess one of the top 5.
I was gonna guess Amazon.com because everybody goes to Amazon.
Your
Usually
first guess is Amazon.com. I'm sorry, you do not get a point. Sam, can you please take your guess as one of the top 5 websites on the internet of all time? P.S. Amazon is number 6.
YouTube.
Oh.
Sam says YouTube. He gets 1 point. Sam gets 1. Anne-Marie has 0. Anne, take your next guess as one of the top 5 websites on the internet right now. Go ahead.
Let's see. Facebook.com? Or Facebook?
Facebook. 1 point for Anne. Actually, I'm looking at this is top websites on the entire internet, and I think it's just slightly different than what I was looking at yesterday, which was in the United States. So I don't think anyone is going to get Baidu.com, the leading Chinese language search engine, which is number 4 on the list. I'm going to knock that out, which actually moves Amazon, which was number 6, into the number 5 position, so Anne gets another point. I'm sorry the way that just worked out. Anne has 2 points now. Sam, you have 1 point, and it's your turn.
Wikipedia.
Ooh, Sam. Sorry you get no points for that. That's number 7. Anne-Marie, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Let's see. Does Google count? Google.com, the search engine?
I think it would count considering that that's the number 1 answer. Anne-Marie with another point.
I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
Sam, you have another guess because there's still 1 more left on the list, and if you get it, you get the point, even though you would not win. Do you want to try to guess?
Yeah.
We've okay. Just to review, Google was number 1, YouTube was number 2, Facebook was number 3. We knocked out Baidu.com, which was number 4, the leading Chinese language search engine, which moved Amazon up to number 5. So what would be the number 4 website in the world, Sam, that is an American website that we know?
I'm going to regret not doing my first 2. I'm going to regret Twitter and Drudge. I'm going with Craigslist.
I'm sorry, Sam. You did not get the point. It was Yahoo, and Anne-Marie wins the contest. Well, that was pretty fun. And entertaining. Anne-Marie, what did you have this week in entertainment?
Let's see.
Besides the purple one, Prince dying, and thanks for wearing a purple shirt today.
Oh,
was that on purpose? Did you do that on purpose?
Yes. Well, I love purple. It's my favorite color. And blue.
Oh, okay, just
purple
like
and blue. Let's see. Well, there's like a few things I had. One was real quick. Janet Jackson a few weeks ago announced that she was having some poor ticket sales, and she announced like a week ago that she had to cancel some shows because she already canceled shows before, like a few months ago, because she said her throat. Now she's announced that she and her husband are going to start a family. So she needs her rest, and she said on doctor's orders. Now, she's 49 years old. I don't know if she's going to get IVF, or I mean, she's 49. So some people were saying, well, maybe this is because she wasn't having good ticket sales, and
Wait, she's
you know
39 or 49?
49, and she said
49
she's gonna
49.50?
49, almost 50, and she said that her and her husband are going to start a family, and she needs rest on doctor's orders. So a lot of people are saying,
Oh man, she still looks so young. She can do it.
she does.
Yeah, she looks great.
I have faith in her. It's not that it's unusual, but it's not as unusual as it used to be.
There's her husband.
Oh yeah, he's a billionaire. He's from Qatar. He's a billionaire.
Oh yeah, he looks fertile. I'm sure it'll be okay.
Yeah, he's younger, so I'm sure he probably wants children. And
No way.
let's see. There's a couple. This might be crossing over to science news. There was a couple that found ambergris. Did you ever watch Bob's Burgers, and they do an episode where they find ambergris? It's basically whale throw up, and they use it in perfume, and it's worth a lot of money. It's a really stinky substance, and it's really basically like whale vomit. It's called ambergris, Ambergris. It's worth $72,000.
What is this? What is this?
It's whale vomit.
Whale vomit?
Yeah, and they put it in perfume.
We've just ruined perfume for everyone. I love you, Anne-Marie. That is awesome.
It smells good after you do what to it?
I ruined vegetarianism and you ruined perfumes. Yes!
Yeah. Well, they say that it stinks. It smells like a cross between squid and cow manure. And it's from whale vomit, and it's worth about $72,000. This couple found it.
Biologically, it must do something. Something about its pheromones must do something to our human brains that make us say that smells good.
I guess like musk. Like I know, like hunters and stuff sometimes will spray that musk to attract.
Did you say perfume? Did you say perfume or cologne?
I read perfume.
Is this for men or women?
I don't know. I guess it could be for both. I don't know. I first heard about it from. What was that?
He said, was it for cologne or perfume? I said, it depended which bathroom you were putting it on in.
Yeah, that was in the news. And then also cicadas. This is more science, though. They said cicadas are coming out this spring, if it's going to be a warm spring. They come out every 17 years.
Oh, Sam got me on that one. That was great. Cicadas. Is it
the 17-year ones?
Yeah, that's what they are. Those insects.
Oh no, let her go, D. Like you got to hear this.
I know.
For those of you that like horror movies, make sure you watch The Beast Within. Free plug.
The Beast Within.
It's about 17-year cicadas. That's why I mentioned it. It's an amazing movie.
I gotta check that out.
Okay, so tell us about these cicadas, which are weird, sort of locust fly-looking weird bugs. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, they just really. And they're really noisy. I mean, I remember, like, when I grew up, they were like, when they came out, you could really hear them. They make, like, a ton of noise. They leave, like, these shells everywhere.
Yeah.
They're gross.
I used to farm up my wife at the time, my girlfriend, so I'm still going to do it again. With my wife now.
They're not screaming. They're celebrating like the aliens in the new Independence Day trailer. They're like aliens. Tell us more about these cicadas. What's going on there? I mean, where is this happening?
Oh, it's like I grew up on the East Coast, so like it's gonna happen like definitely all over here. Do they have those in California? Because I know like in New York they have them.
No, that's not. Well, not in San Diego, but I know of them and like I've heard them before and like. But I just saw an article the other day that was like, cicadas are coming, but I forgot what state it was.
Yeah,
and
they're
coming.
They're noisy. They're annoying.
I love them.
Mm. Yeah, and then
that was on. Do you Do you guys like fireflies?
Oh, I love fire.
Yes.
Yes. But you know, now that they spray for mosquitoes in a lot of places, you hardly see like beautiful butterflies and fireflies. But when I see one, I get so excited. I love fireflies. They're so
And
beautiful.
now that they're fighting the Zika virus this summer, you're going to see even less, unfortunately.
Well, that's true.
All right, do you like...
The female fireflies can't really fly though because their wings are too short, but they sit on the branches, and then when they see one of the males light up, because it's like a chemical reaction that happens that makes them light up, and then when they see a signal that they recognize, they do the same signal to like court the male to get him to land on the branch. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, the firefly thing.
Do you feel that strange itch? It's cat scratch. It's cat scratch fever. If you can find me a nice version, of maybe a karaoke version of cat scratch fever, so that we don't get the video non like banned or whatever. Listen to what Ted Nugent said on Prison Planet. This is great. He wrote, "Obama is against Trump." These all end with "against Trump." That way I don't have to sound really monotonous. Obama is, the media is, the establishment Democrats, the establishment Republicans, the Pope, the UN, the EU, China, Mexico, Soros, Black Lives Matter, MoveOn.org, Koch brothers, and hateful, racist, violent liberals are all against Trump. Bonus points. Why Trump should be president. Cher says she will leave the country. So does Miley Cyrus, Whoopi Goldberg, Rosie O'Donnell, Al Sharpton, Governor Brown. So it sounds like the exact kind of president that the U.S. needs. I love Ted Nugent when he does something like that. Awesome. Just awesome. Don't play too much, Gila. Karaoke version. We're as good as band. That does it. We're band.
Cat scratch fever.
But that was the best rant ever. I absolutely was in love with that rant. I had to.
I don't know about that.
I don't like Ted Nugent, and I think anytime he says something, I think the opposite of what he says.
Sam!
I like
Marie's on the show? You let her get away with that kind of talk?
Well, the good thing is that we got exactly the host that we wanted, somebody that was like on it. But no, I really do. I agree with literally every line he said in the entire rant.
Oh.
The idea of Governor Jerry Brown leaving the country would make me and, might I add, another musician, Jello Biafra, really happy.
All right, guys. Wow. Very contentious, very contentious. Anne-Marie and Sam, if you had to choose from one side of the heart that is on display on my screen, the red or the green, which would you choose?
Green.
You can only have vegetables from one side of the heart for a week. Is it going to be the green side, which includes, it looks like broccoli, green peppers, some grapes, some green apples, some other green peas.
Although I do miss the red
Or
pepper.
the red side, that includes red apples, red peppers, some cherries, and some other stuff. Which side are you going to choose?
What, you got cherries? I thought those were radishes. If they're cherries, I'm going.
Radishes are red. Radishes are red. Radishes are red. Grapes are green. But I see some red grapes, too. I mean,
you got to have the rainbow. You got to mix it up. You got to have the rainbow. And the red peppers have vitamin C.
The red peppers would almost do it by themselves.
That's going to make it even harder. Hold on. Rainbow vegetarian. Let's see. Oh, jeez.
But I like the red peppers raw, and I like the green peppers cooked, like in a fajita, like wrap it in a tortilla.
So good.
But the red I like raw. I don't like roasted red peppers. I like raw red peppers.
Getting specific there, but that wasn't the question. Come on, you have to choose a side, guys. Choose a side. This is Civil War, red versus green vegetables.
It was gonna be green till I realized you had
Iron Man or
lots red.
Captain America.
I thought they were all vegetables. When I realized they were fruits, I went to the red side.
Okay, because it includes fruits and vegetables that are red, Sam decides that he is going to go red. And Anne-Marie, which side do you?
Well, I like green apples, like the sour Granny Smith apples, better. And I do eat a lot of like broccoli. I could eat that raw or cooked. So I guess, and I do zucchini. I guess a green one.
Is that my fault, everybody? I mean, in the picture, everything looks raw, but you're going to cook the peas. You're probably going to cook the carrots and stuff that I see.
No peas. I hate peas.
Yeah, I hate peas.
So this includes raw and cooked, right?
And grapes, the grapes.
Sam, did you take raw and cooked into your decision?
My wife can open up a can of peas and eat it when they're barely warm. Ugh.
Oh, that's disgusting.
She loves peas. I can only eat
I love green pea soup, but I need it hot. Peas should be hot, maybe with some butter. So, Anne, are you saying Asian? Because we're including raw and cooked. So, do you say green?
I would say I would lean towards green because you can have them raw or cooked. Like potatoes, you'd have to, like on the other side, it's a lot of potatoes. I like sweet potatoes, but I see red potatoes.
You don't like sweet potatoes? Oh, now I want potatoes.
I like sweet potatoes more than white potatoes. So.
Yeah, I see some potatoes there, red potatoes. The red, on a scale of, are those tomatillos or green apples? I think I see both. I'm going to go, I see some spinach and some lettuce. I'm going to go green, but not for all times. I'm saying like a week, So next week I'll go red, and we'll get the full heart going, right? So I'm glad we talked about vegetarianism, and everybody get your proper amount of fruits and vegetables. Anne thinks that I eat too much carbs, so I just wanted to clarify that I love fruits and vegetables. Okay? Thank you.
Do you like, you should have zoodles. You get like a veggetti. I gotta get you a veggetti. You put the zucchini in, and you make zoodles.
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian.
But you make zoodles. You make zucchini noodles. Or get broccoli slaw and use that instead of pasta. You're eating too much pasta. You gotta eat like, use like zoodles, zucchini noodles. Get a veggetti.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Green noodles, right?
Yeah, and get broccoli slaw. You get zucchini. They get the veggetti. Put that spiralized. Pesto's good. That's great with pesto. Zucchini noodles with pesto, and some shrimp on top.
See, I'm not opposed to that.
Broccoli slaw.
Dinner. Jesus. Right. Well, I mean, it sounds like we're getting to the end of the show. Sam, did you have anything else that you needed to get out? What do we got?
Those are the ones I got. I will say for those who have not yet done so, if you haven't checked out the Battle Cry video, the recently released DVD, and you happen to be an old school metal fan, make sure you do so. It's really, really good.
Great.
I had Prince's death, of course, but we did it at the beginning, so I had Nugent for the entertainment. But
give us a little more Prince in closing.
Again, I think the main thing to notice, remember with Prince is he checked himself out of the hospital because his entourage wasn't given their own room. I'm sorry the man died, but that wasn't the brightest move of the week. Bad call.
Okay, and I just wanted to say R.I.P. to Prince, great individual. Prince, it's kind of hard to find him, but what about Prince Symbol? Let's all take a look at that in closing. Prince Symbol. Remember when he changed his name to this? Just a symbol.
He hated his record label that much. The interesting thing is, with him, you can never find his music. Like, he kept it so you had to purchase it. which was fine. But a lot of times on the fly when you're DJing, especially with things like virtual DJ that downloads music, if you don't have it, you're just going to move on to another artist.
That's
And
funny because that reminded me of something that we were talking about in the very beginning of the show, coming to the end of the show and going full circle. Anne-Marie, did you hear that, similar to Michael Jackson, that Prince had a rather extensive music collection, and there's questions surrounding whether or not we'll get to hear any of what's in his vault. And also, similar to, like, say, like a Tupac or something, he had over 2,000 songs, like, of unreleased recorded material. Did you hear any of that, Ann?
Wow, no, but I did see that as soon as they die, these musicians, their record labels make a ton of money. His songs went to #1 right away, just like David Bowie, Michael Jackson. And they make tons of money off these deaths of these artists. And there's like a lot of conspiracy theories right now saying that they don't really die, that they go into retirement. And like Tupac is in Cuba and Prince is with him right now because the record companies, they do make a lot of money when they die. The same.
What?
But I don't.
I'm sorry, my headphones came unplugged. I didn't mean to interrupt. But what label was Prince on? Columbia or Warner Brothers or what was he on? His own?
I have no idea. I don't really know too much about Prince.
I liked his Let's Get Crazy stuff. I really didn't like his R&B stuff very much. I'm not a big fan of vocal running, but I liked his more rootsy rock stuff. He was an accomplished musician, that's for sure.
I don't know. I'm trying to look it up.
I remember Marcus Phillips once said that he thought it was a disgrace that Prince was called greatness, which was funny. He was a stride pianist.
My sister on Christmas, I'm a couple years older. She was like 12, I think. I don't know. Purple Rain came out like in the 80s. What year did that come out?
Yeah, like 84, 83.
Yeah, and my parents were like, "Oh, this is popular on the Casey Kasem, top 40 with Purple Rain," and so they bought her the album for Christmas. But the album also had like Little Nicky and Dirty Roxy or some shit. Like it had some
Erotic City. Yeah, my dad was questioning that one as well.
Yeah. I'm like, she was only like 12, and like one of my dad's friends or something's like, "What is this song?" Like it was like Christmas Day. I got like a jukebox or a little radio beatbox or whatever, and she got like this tape. And it's like, "Oh, let's play this song. Oh, Purple Rain. Oh, what a great song. It's on the top 40. Casey Kasem loves it." And then it was like, a couple songs later, it was like, Dirty Nicky came to my house and like, yeah. And I was like, whoa. Should she be listening to this?
We can fucking
Little Nicky and Little Red Corvette. My dad loved Corvettes, but he's like, wait, what is this song, Little Red Corvette? Oh man, I remember my dad was like came into my room one time when I was listening to like Run DMC or something, and they said something like goddamn or like shit or something, and he's like, what? He's like, they can say that in music now? I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool. Like I was at the mall with my mom, and I'm like, and she's like, what does this parental advisory explicit lyrics thing mean? I'm like, oh, that's nothing. Sam, I know you remember that. Sam, you remember when the parental advisory explicit lyrics stickers started coming out on albums that you wanted to purchase as a kid?
I did a full report against the PMRC when I was in the 70s.
The PMRC? Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife, right?
And I remembered it years later when Al Gore ran. I'm like, wow, you lost my vote when I was like 13.
Sam,
you know what you gotta see?
It's freedom of speech. Just watch what you say.
You know what you gotta see is on YouTube. We gotta find it. But Tipper Gore is at a Grateful Dead concert, and she's like whacking on the drums like this, and she's going wild and crazy. I swear, it's hysterical.
Sam, have you ever heard that?
No, I didn't want to.
And a Grateful Dead concert.
Oh,
do
Grateful
it.
Dead?
Do it.
Oh, I was like, she grabs the mic and starts rapping, "Oh, motherfucking Tipper Gore, bitch!" I'm married to the vice president.
You gotta put you like you gotta do it. You gotta end with that video. Maybe we should. We might not want to do.
Are you making this up? Let me see. YouTube. Tipper Gore Grateful Dead concert. Grateful Dead. Tipper Gore Grateful Dead. Tipper Gore recordings 2005 to 2010. Wait, Al Gore divorced Tipper Gore?
They were
Yeah.
going to. They were going to. They did.
I think they did because he used to have like massages and have the masseuse come up to his room or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he was like a wild chihuahua that bit people's lips just like Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Tipper Gore at Lupo's? Do you think this is it?
Grateful Dead.
Is there more than one Tipper Gore?
I mean, now that she's got away from Mr. Woody, I helped destroy Ron.
There's no way that's fucking the real Tipper Gore. I don't know. They call her Tipper Gore because of the PMRC, like Sam was talking about. Sam, do you think this is the real Tipper Gore playing drums at this heavy metal concert?
No, but that's not the Grateful Dead. We haven't found the right video, that's all.
Oh, you guys can't hear it. Yeah, I got my headphones back on.
Yeah, it was definitely Grateful Dead. They're friends with like Mickey Hart, I think, and he plays percussion. But it was so weird because she's like whapping away. She looks like
The name is that.
Well, we're gonna. Hopefully we can find it for next week.